Hello children, today we are going to discuss one more chapter, heat. We are going to solve its NCERT questions. So let's start solving the questions. Question number 1 is state similarities and differences between the laboratory thermometer and the clinical thermometer. So we all know that laboratory thermometers are used in laboratories, whereas clinical thermometers we use to take our body temperature. So first we are going to write the similarities. So one by one we can write down all the points. So both the thermometers, they are made up of long glass tube, right? So we can write down both thermometers are made up of long glass tube. Next point we can write that you can see here that both the thermometers, they have bulb at one end, right? So we can write down both have a bulb at one end. Both the thermometers use mercury, right? So we can write that both contain mercury. Then both the thermometers use Celsius scale. So both use Celsius scale, right? Now let's see differences. What are the differences? So when we talk about laboratory thermometers, so laboratory thermometer does not contain any king, right, or constriction. Whereas clinical thermometer, it contains a king. So we can write down it does not contain king, whereas it contains a king. Then what is the other point of difference? When we see that the temperature range, right, that is different for both the thermometers. So we can say that this laboratory thermometer, it can measure from -10 degrees to 110 degrees Celsius, right? Whereas when we talk about clinical thermometer, it can measure the temperature from 35 degrees to 45 degrees Celsius, right? So we can write that it can measure -10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius temperature. Whereas when we talk about clinical thermometer, it can measure 35 degrees Celsius to 45 degrees Celsius temperature, right? Now, next question. Give two examples each of conductors and insulators of heat. So when we talk about conductors, means the substances through which heat can easily flow, right? So we can write down iron, copper, all the metals, right? And when we talk about insulators, means the substances which will not allow the heat to flow through them, right? So we can write down wood, plastic, right? We have to write two examples. Okay. Now moving on to next question. Fill in the blanks. The hotness of an object is determined by its temperature, right? So we will write here temperature. Next, temperature of boiling water cannot be measured by a dash thermometer. So we can use laboratory thermometer, but we cannot use clinical thermometer. So we will write clinical thermometer. Next, temperature is measured in degree. So we will say that temperature is measured in degrees Celsius, though there are other units as well, but in general we use this. So temperature is measured in degrees Celsius. Next, no medium is required for transfer of heat by the process of radiation. We have two more processes, conduction and convection, but medium is required for both the processes, whereas for radiation, there is no medium which is required for the transfer of heat. Okay, next question. A cold steel spoon is dipped in a cup of hot milk. Heat is transferred to its other end by the process of. So just now we have discussed that there are three processes: conduction, convection, and radiation. Here the heat will get transferred by the process of conduction. Next question. Clothes of dash colors absorb more heat better than clothes of light color. So we know that light colors, they absorb less heat, whereas the dark colors, they absorb more heat. So here we will write dark colors. Now moving on to next question, match the following. Let's see what options are given here. So land breeze blows during. So we all know what land breeze is. We know that the land breeze will blow during night. So this is the correct option. Sea breeze blows during day. And dark colored clothes are preferred during. We wear dark colored clothes in winters. Why? Because they absorb more heat. Right? So this will be the correct answer. And light colored clothes are preferred during summers. Why? Because they do not absorb heat. They reflect the heat. Right? Now, next question is, discuss why wearing more layers of clothing during winter keeps us warmer than wearing just one thick piece of clothing. So what happens when we wear more layers? Then what happens between the two layers, the air will get trapped. And we know that air is bad conductor of heat. So once the air is trapped, it will not allow our body heat to go out, right? And we will not feel cold, right? So we can write down, let's write down the answer. When we wear more layers of clothing, then air gets trapped between the layers, right? And we know that air is bad conductor of heat, hence it will not allow body heat to escape. Then what will happen? Therefore, we will not feel cold, right? That is why it is preferable to wear more layers rather than wearing one single layer, right? Question is, look at figure, mark where the heat is being transferred by conduction, by convection, and by radiation. So we have to mark all these processes, that which process is taking place where. So let's see, let's start by conduction. We all know what is conduction. Conduction is the process in which the direct contact of molecules should take place. So here, this handle will also become hot because of conduction, right? Why? Because this pan is hot and handle is in direct contact with the pan. So this will also get heated. This is conduction. Inside the liquid which is being heated, this will show convection. Because as soon as the molecules of liquid will start heating, they will start moving up, right? So this will be the process of convection. And here we can see radiation. This heat will be given out and it does not require any medium. So this is the process of radiation, right? Now moving on to our next question. In places of hot climate, it is advised that the outer walls of the houses be painted white. Explain. We all know that all the light colors and white color as well, they are not a very good conductor of heat. They do not absorb heat, right? They reflect heat. And here we are talking about hot climate. That means we don't need to absorb heat, right? So what do? We make the houses like that so that we can, the outer wall of the house will be painted with white color, right? So what will happen? The heat which is, falling on the wall will get reflect and the house is not at all heated and we will not feel that heat. So we can write down the answer. In places of hot climate, the outer walls of houses are painted white because white color reflects the heat, right? And houses remain cooler. they do not get heated, right? So we can write down they do not get heated, right? So this is the correct answer. Okay. Now moving on to next question. 1 liter of water at 30 degrees centigrade is mixed with 1 liter of water at 50 degrees centigrade. So here the temperature of 1 liter of water is 30 degrees and the temperature of another 1 liter water is 50 degrees. Now what? The temperature of the mixture will be. So we all know that the heat will start flowing from the higher temperature towards the lower temperature. So now let's see what are the options. 80 degrees. Will the temperature of mixture be 80 degrees? No. More than 50 degrees but less than 80 degrees. No, the temperature will not rise because the higher temperature is 50 degrees. So this is again wrong option. 20 degrees, this is also not possible. And next option is between 30 and 50 degrees centigrade. Yes, this will be the correct answer. Why? Because the heat will start flowing from 50 degrees centigrade and it will flow towards the water which is at 30 degrees centigrade. So the temperature of this water will decrease and here this water is gaining the heat so its temperature will increase, right? So the temperature of the mixture will be between 30 degrees and 50 degrees, right? Now, next question. An iron ball at 40 degrees centigrade is dropped in a mug containing water at 40 degrees centigrade. The heat will. Now the options are flow from iron ball to water, not flow from iron ball to water or from water to iron ball. Next, flow from water to iron ball. And last option is increase the temperature of both. So what will be the correct option? Here we can see that the iron ball is of 40 degrees centigrade, whereas the mug containing water is also of 40 degrees centigrade. So what will happen here? Both the objects have same temperature. That means flow of heat will not take place, right? So what will be the correct answer? The correct answer is not flow from iron ball to water or from water to iron ball. Why? Because temperature of iron ball and water are same, right? This is the answer. Now, next question. A wooden spoon. Children, mind it, it's written a wooden spoon is dipped in a cup of ice cream. Its other end, let's see what are the options, becomes cold by the process of conduction, becomes cold by the process of convection, becomes cold by the process of radiation, and last option is does not become cold. So we know that what is written a wooden spoon. So we know that when we talk about wooden spoon, wood is insulator. It will not allow the heat to flow, right? So last option does not become cold, right? So the other end will not become cold. Now, next question. This is the last question. Stainless steel pans are usually provided with copper bottoms. You all must have seen it at home. The reason for this could be that number A, copper bottom makes the pan more durable. Number B, such pans appear colorful. Number C, copper is a better conductor of heat than the stainless steel. And D, copper is easier to clean than the stainless steel. Right? So the correct option is yes, the copper is a better conductor as compared to stainless steel. Right? It can conduct heat better than stainless steel. So this is the correct option. So children, that's it for today. We will meet again and we will solve one more exercise. Bye everyone.